Well, I'm just pulling on the lot this morning, getting ready for taping today, and this is a particularly demanding scenario because we've got a woman, she thinks she's in a relationship with Vladimir Putin, and that she's going to meet him, and he's been signaling her and talking to her. She's having some really significant delusions.
My mother thinks that she's in a relationship with Vladimir Putin.
I love him. He is going to take me home to Russia.
You know, her daughter Amy thinks that she's not only delusional about being in love with Vladimir Putin and him in love with her. This has been going on for 3 years. In fact, she thinks she's the mother of Russia.
You're saying he's in love with me. Why hasn't he gotten you?
She wanted to go to Alaska so she could cross over into Russia to meet him. And they wouldn't let her into Canada, so she was living in her car. And we went up there at the request of her family, picked her up and brought her here.
Vladimir communicates with me through his ties.
This guy's the most powerful guy in the world. Why is he talking to you through his tie?
It is delusional. The question is why and how can we get this woman back with her feet on the ground? Just put it this way, it's going to be an uphill battle this morning.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. You might be wondering why I'm standing here in a completely empty studio. Well, it's because my guest today, Jennifer, is dealing with what I and her family believe to be a serious and potentially life-threatening mental illness. If I'm going to help her, I need her to be 100% focused on me. Every guest we have on Dr. Phil, in addition to seeking personal guidance, is a teaching tool. The question for you at home is, how do you know when unusual thinking and behavior has crossed the line from perhaps a passing disturbance or an idiosyncrasy to a mental illness requiring professional intervention? Jennifer's children believe she has crossed that line. They say they first noticed something was seriously wrong with her thinking when she revealed she was engaged to marry Russian President Vladimir Putin. In fact, Jennifer says when she saw this picture of the Russian leader, she knew that she was destined to marry him and become the Queen of Russia. I treat all of my guests with dignity and respect, including those who may have debilitating mental illnesses, however outlandish their expressed beliefs. In addition to helping Jennifer, my hope is that I can respectfully raise awareness about this type of thought disorder, whatever the diagnosis, by educating you at home on how to recognize it when you see it. If you find yourself dealing with similar symptomatology, I want you to know what it is and what to do about it. Jennifer's children say their mother's delusions have gotten so bad that she now believes she stopped President Trump's assassination, terrorist plots, and 4 wars. Take a look.
My mother thinks that she's in a relationship with Vladimir Putin to the extent that she has become homeless, living in and out of motels. My mother says Putin is going to make her the Queen of Russia to help run his country.
My mother is delusional. I honestly couldn't tell you the last normal conversation I had with my mom. Always comes down to Putin, religion, politics.
He had posted this picture, a good evening, and that was the night before I arrived in LA. And
30, 35, 40 minutes, nonstop talking.
These are the trees outside of La Park here, so he already knows where I'm going, what's being set up, all that stuff.
You would put the phone down and walk away and come back and she'd still be talking.
Yeah, and so this is how Vladimir and I, we communicate through pictures.
My mother told us she's had visions or dreams of working with all these world leaders over in, different countries.
So what he's telling me here is that if the U.S. does not sign that peace treaty with North Korea, we're going to do a similar type of a JCPOA with North Korea to make sure that we have global peace.
My mom thinks she's really in contact with President Putin and believes that they're going to get married. I think it's all crazy.
And on top of that, she went out and bought a wedding dress a few years ago because she had a dream she was going to get married after getting wrapped up in Vladimir Putin. That's who she believes she was called to marry.
My mother believes that there is a code between communication of Vladimir Putin and herself. She believes that certain hand gestures and stuff that is meant just for her. When my mother would show pictures of Vladimir Putin to my children, she had my daughter, who is 2, calling Vladimir Putin her Dida, which I believe is Russian for grandfather. She's not living in reality. Everything is on social media, and that has become her reality. My mom posts on social media probably 70 to 80 times a day about different world leaders, and she'll find coincidences that happen with what's going on in the news or politically, and she'll say, I did that, that was me.
It just keeps getting worse.
My mother is currently homeless because she needs to be prepared and ready at a moment's notice for when Vladimir is going to pick her up to bring her back to Russia. My mother lived in a truck stop for over 120 nights, sleeping in her car with 2 dogs.
My mom needs mental help. There's something seriously wrong with her.
My mother doesn't see what she's doing as nuts, and she thinks we are the problem, not her.
Okay, it's good to meet you guys. Do you have any idea why she's fixated on Putin?
We have no idea. It's just something that she's been going on for 3 years. We don't really know what triggered this obsession.
Now, she went to try to get it to Canada?
Yes.
Because she was going to go to Alaska, so...
She could cross the Bering Strait to be into Russia.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they let her in Canada?
Well, she was detained at customs just for the fact that she didn't have the funds to basically fund her trip through Alaska.
That is true. They require you to show...
through Canada.
Yeah.
You show some wherewithal to do what you say you're going in there to do. She also believes that she was stopped by Nancy Pelosi.
Yes.
As well. So she put a grandiose spin on it.
Yes.
Peter, she gave you power of attorney, correct?
Yes, that is correct. She wanted me to take care of her, I guess, financial things, if I had to do appointments or deposit checks while she was over in Russia.
Now, she thinks that she's a visionary.
Yes.
Right? And she thinks that she's communicating with world leaders, that she can foresee and influence world conflict, terrorist attacks, things of that nature.
Yeah.
You're convinced she believes this?
Yeah, she sounds so convincing with every detail she says about everything.
Right. And she's very intelligent.
Yes, she is a very smart woman.
Okay. And her communication with Putin, she has a library of images and text. These are some of the Facebook posts that she's put up to him. Here's to another day, loving you, XOXO. Straight to St. Petersburg, one of my favorites from today. I love you, V, good night. I can feel that you want your wife, me, with you. I can feel that longing pulling on me. It was a very, very good morning, waking up next to you every morning as your wife will be even better. So this is her communicating to him. Then she finds images of him just in the media, and she reads something into those, like he was wearing a certain tie, or there's flowers. Isn't it sweet that he put these flowers in, all of this. And that's her reading him communicating back to her. There's a code.
Yes.
Yes, no matter what picture she'll see of him, she'll find a way to correlate it to
Find
her.
something in there that's a secret message.
Yeah.
All right, well, we need to meet her. Next, Jennifer admits she's never spoken to, never met, never been in the same room, never even been in the same vicinity of Putin, but claims they communicate through a secret code involving Putin's tie color. She says that he wore a black and white tie recently, which means he's coming to get her. Now, we'll meet Jennifer after the break and let her explain how all of this fits together. We'll be right back.
I really can't wait for him to come get me. I feel like I belong in Russia. I can feel when he's thinking about me. Vladimir had posted a picture of him wearing a black quilted jacket, which was similar to the black quilted vest that I planned on wearing. If he asked me, without a doubt, I would marry him. I would. He's my best friend.
Tomorrow, moms says her daughter...
I'm blamed for being an alcoholic. Whenever I watched a functioning alcoholic my whole life. How many seconds do we have left?
...is a rebel.
You jumped out the window because you were drunk with no clothes on and we had to call the police.
And one...
You got fired for falling asleep on the lifeguard stand.
Yeah, I did.
Hot mess.
You ought to have the world on a string. And instead, you got a smart mouth and a lazy ass.
That's tomorrow. Then on Friday, their daughter's 15 and out of control.
She steals your car and wrecks it?
There's a lot of scratches.
You're missing the point. The conversation is, you stole my car.
That's Friday.
My mother believes that at any moment, Putin will be ready to pick her up. She's left our house with $88. Her plan was to drive all the way to Alaska.
She got a car for some random stranger. That's when she started her journey driving to Chicago, followed by North Dakota. And
her ultimate plan was to get into Canada, drive to Alaska, cross the Bering Strait to be into Russia. She drove as far as North Dakota. She was detained. My mother believes that she was flagged at customs because Nancy Pelosi had stopped her at the border.
Well, Jennifer says she and Russian President Vladimir Putin are head over heels in love. She believes the Lord has shown her through prophetic visions that she will soon be Putin's wife and mother of Russia, and will birth him a child. Take a look.
I have a relationship with Vladimir Putin. It started out politically, and from there it started to develop more of a friendship. I'm sorry, I gotta take a minute. I love him. Oh, my screensaver. It's Vladimir praying. If he asked me, without a doubt, I would marry him. I would. He's my best friend. I've actually had visions of him coming in on the presidential plane and me going back to Russia with him. Back when I saw Vladimir wearing the cross necklace, that's when my world stopped. I just felt I had to do everything I could to help him. I really can't wait for him to come get me. It's my fishing pole. This fishing pole is going to Siberia with me fishing, so that's why I'm carrying it with me. I feel like I belong in Russia. We communicate through social media on a daily basis. Vladimir's messing with me right now with what he's posting. One of the ways that Vladimir communicates with me is through his ties. The one picture here with the black tie with the white polka dots, he'll post these photos of the black with the white polka dots, just letting me know that he is going to come and take me back home to Russia. This tie here, the beat tie, which is kind of like my sweater today, and I noticed he would have red lips. And, you know, I'm over here and I'm thinking, is the man catfishing me? What is going on? Right after I asked him, why are your lips red? Are you kissing a lady over there, you know? And right after that, he ended up sharing that he drinks the beet juice with horseradish in it, which was creating the red lips. So now he will wear the beet color tie. He's just letting me know, look, I'm not kissing anybody, it's the beet tie. I can feel when he's thinking about me. Vladimir had posted a picture of him wearing a black quilted jacket, which was similar to the black quilted vest that I planned on wearing. I began having prophecies. I would birth another child. I was having dreams of having this little girl that him and I would have. Actually holding a baby outfit that the Lord had led me to go by and to begin praying over. Vladimir will often post the blue tie with the white polka dots, confirming to me, you know, this is our future. Right now, I'm homeless, and this is a path that brought me into the conditions that I'm in. I got hit with spiritual warfare. You know, when you're coming against evil that I do in this ministry, I get hit and finances will dry up. I have no support from my family, my children. I'm out here shifting militaries and nations and world leaders. I live for an audience of one. That's all that matters to me.
Well, how are you?
Oh, a lot of different emotions going on right now.
Yeah? You said that you're processing a lot of this, and it's just an audience of one. And that's what I wanted today, was an audience of one.
Yes, thank you.
I want you.
Thank you.
And me. And your children are here because they love you very much. And they're concerned about you. You're homeless. And y'all are very concerned. That's reasonable, right?
Well, it is, but I think the motivation for them being here is not because of concern. I think it's character assassination. I do.
And what is it that they get from assassinating the character of their mother?
I feel like because of what I'm doing, and I haven't shared fully the depth of my involvement with these governments and world leaders, they see this outside, they see what's going on, and they can't explain this to people, and I think it's embarrassing to them. And I think to save face, let's bring her on Dr. Phil's show, She's Psychotic, and That way we have something to tell people why she's out doing these things, because they don't fully understand. I get that.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because we've talked to them and done extensive interviews with them, as we did with you, so you know how in-depth we go.
Yes, yes.
And not one of them has said a negative word about you from the first minute we talked to them until right now.
Unless it's just a facade, because they do that. I mean, it's been something that they do, whether it's with family or through text messages. I mean, I gave the text messages she sent that she thought I was psychotic and needed help, and all of them think I need help.
What did you do?
I would take it. I said, do a full psychiatric evaluation on me. You want chemical, hormonal, full eval. I'm willing to take that.
Jennifer believes one of her Facebook followers is President Donald Trump. She believes she has influenced a number of his decisions, including his firing of James Comey and his pursuit of peace with North Korea. I want to ask her about those things, but I've got a fundamental base question I want to start with when we come back.
I have a lot of visions. I close my eyes, and the minute I do, it's like a light show. I will start seeing one image after another. I'll post stuff out there, and it's shifting these leaders to have meetings and conversations. I influenced the meeting with President Trump and Chairman Kim Jong-un. In 2016, I get a call from the Trump campaign in Syracuse, New York. He goes, well, we need a lot of help over here. Can you come help us with the Trump campaign? And when he said that, something in my spirit was like, that this is that prophecy of political influence. I realized at that moment that I needed to use, my spiritual gifts, the prophetic gifts, with this campaign to help President Trump win the election. I feel that my prayer life had protected President Trump during the campaigns. There were two different times, and in prayer, I saw people trying to come in either to attempt an assassination, something wasn't right, and I would send an email and warn, and, they would email me back, thank you for the information.
Well, Jennifer says while working for the Trump campaign, she realized her mission here on Earth is to share her prophetic visions with world leaders in order to stop wars, assassinations, and spread global peace. All good missions, of course.
I have a gift of prophecy. You hear the voice of God to speak to people, but I will oversee conversations. I have a lot of visions. I have a lot of dreams. I see visions with my eyes open, my eyes closed. The way this gift works best is I will post on Facebook or Twitter what the Lord is showing me. Normally, world leaders, other people are seeing that and making decisions to try to intercept the evil I'm seeing coming. I close my eyes, and the minute I do, it's like a light show. I will start seeing one image after another. The world leaders that are following my posts that I'm aware of, 60 to 75% of world leaders, presidents, vice presidents, prime ministers, first ladies, defense ministers, foreign ministers, kings, queens. I can go pray over a nation, and the Lord will show me whether there is a miraculous cure for a disease, or I will see a region and the Lord will show me, there's oil in that region, go ahead and tap into it. I encouraged President Trump to fire former FBI Director James Comey. Trump listens and to the advice and stuff of the Lord through me. I'll post stuff out there, and it's shifting these leaders to have meetings and conversations. I influenced the meeting with President Trump and Chairman Kim Jong-un. A lot of these world leaders, they trust the Lord's wisdom through me for global strategy. I was behind the Iran nuclear deal staying in place. I actually had a dream one night of the warplane in Syria and the whole incident where we ended up striking them. And the next portion of the dream, I saw a terror attack on the London Bridge. I post this on social media. A few days later, there's headlines all over the place. I was sleeping in my granddaughter's bed one night, and I start seeing Washington Post reporter Jamal Khashoggi was murdered in a consulate in Turkey. And it was probably the most graphic vision I've ever had in my entire life. I'm seeing his face. I'm seeing somebody from the Middle East, the rope being used to strangle and choke him. I saw a needle go into his neck. I saw fingers being cut off. I was hearing the screams. I'm just weeping and sobbing that night, and I'm posting and posting. Every piece I'm seeing, I'm posting on social media, and I just wanted to bury my head in Vladimir's chest.
Nick, I get the feeling you're hearing some of this for the first time.
Yeah.
What,
it's disturbing. It almost sickens me to hear this. I miss my mom. I wish I had her in my life, my kid's life, and just seeing her go down this path is upsetting.
You miss me, but you didn't have me at your wedding, and you had my sister I didn't talk to since.
2012, perform your wedding ceremony. That's how much you miss me. I'm not invited to your wedding. You miss me.
You've been invited to
I was never invited. No.
You have been invited to everything.
And apologized to you.
You choose not to come.
Everything.
And you choose not to be a part of anything.
No, because you guys had taken away my position as mom. I am still your mother. But
Shouldn't you be blessed that there's more than one mother to love your children and take care of your children?
But the bottom line is you guys have put so many people in my place in your life. You pushed me out, whether it's my sister, your stepmom, all these other people. I can't help the gifts
You're jealous if we talk to anyone else.
It's not that.
Yes, it is. If we don't go to you, you get upset.
You don't include me. We used to be close. You guys pulled away from the Lord. I didn't.
Your son is down here and obviously in pain about this, and you have no reaction to that whatsoever.
Well, I'm bothered by that.
He's telling you that he is disturbed by what he's seeing. He misses his mother, and your reaction is to be a right fighter. You have your son in front of you in pain, and you totally dismiss it. Are you that cold?
I'm not.
You can't go out and solve the world's problems and not tend to your own family. I think it is damn disrespectful for you to talk about how you see everything that's happened with the killing and dismemberment in the embassy over here. It's pretty easy to prophesy something after it happened. All of your posts were 2 weeks after it happened.
And then pieces of what I saw started coming out in the news. None of that stuff was public.
Yeah.
See, this is all you care about. What about your kids, your grandkids?
I am so tired of being hurt by everybody.
Would you agree that Vladimir Putin is one of the most powerful men in the world?
I do.
If he's in love with you, why has he never met you? Would you agree that Vladimir Putin is one of the most powerful men in the world?
I do.
He's worth several $100 billion. He sits atop one of the most powerful nuclear arsenals in the world. So if he's in love with you, why has he never met you?
Well, and I've questioned that. I think
why is he, if this guy's the most powerful guy in the world, why can't he meet you? Why? It's not like he can't afford to come see you. It's not like he can't get to you. So if that's true, then why is he talking to you through his tie? Why isn't he coming over and saying, hey, come on, let's go?
Well, maybe you should have him on the show and ask him. Seriously, because I think a lot of it has to do with political and timing of stuff.
Listen, you're not exactly a political hot potato.
I feel like you're chasing this and...
Well, let her answer the question. If one of the most powerful men in the world is in love with you, why hasn't he come and gotten you?
I do believe, well, there is some issues going on in the beginning with some things, and I think that...
No, don't talk to me about euphemisms and some things and powerful issues. He's the most powerful man in the world. He makes his own rules. Why hasn't he come and seen you?
That I have no idea. I can't answer for him.
The reason you can't answer it is because you can't make sense out of nonsense. Right? You're saying, he's in love with me. You've never met him. You've never talked to him. You've had no direct communication with him. This is one-sided. This is you to him, not him to you. If he wanted to talk to you, he would talk to you. If he wanted to get to you, he would get to you. True?
Yes.
Come on, logic.
No, logic, I know.
So...
Well, and I've questioned that. I've questioned, is this all about political stuff? What is this? I've really questioned.
It's not about political stuff. You are not politically relevant.
That you would say that, but there's evidence that there is relevance. There's evidence and proof of the stuff I'm doing.
So you're telling me that you're so powerful that Vladimir Putin can't afford to get around you?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
now,
that...
Come on, even you know that's grandiose and egotistical.
No, I'm saying that with me and my prayer life, with the stuff that I expose and show, and Vladimir, he's obedient. He'll get on stuff the minute the Lord shows me something, whether it's hauling out gold. I exposed where there was a uranium mine in Siberia. Him and China are digging it out right now.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. If he wanted to meet you, he would meet you. True?
True.
Next, Amy's fiance, Corey, says the entire family is enabling Jennifer, enabling her to believe things that are not true by giving her thousands of dollars so she can pretend to be a political influencer and in a relationship with Putin. My core base question was, if the most powerful man in that whole region of the world, one of the most 2 or 3 powerful men in the world, wanted to meet her, why hasn't he? We're going to add Corey to this conversation after the break.
She does not have the gift of vision she thinks she has. Amy, Peter, and Nick have confronted her numerous times. There was a lot of enabling going on in the family, with helping her out with money. I believe she's a scam artist.
Having the strong prophetic mantle that I do, when people have been intimate, and I have this thing, I started recognizing it with my teenage daughters. And if they had a boyfriend, like I would look at them and it was almost like I would see their boyfriend's face morph into theirs and then go back out again. And I began wondering, like, why am I seeing that? And then the Lord revealed to me they've been sexually intimate.
Amy's fiance, Corey, says it's time to stop enabling Jennifer and allowing her to live in what he believes is a fantasy. Corey says enough is enough, and until Jennifer seeks mental help,
from Corey,
it's time for the family to step back. Take a look.
I don't agree with the way that Jennifer's living her life. She needs help. She's selfish. Well, a few years back, she'd get some money, and she'd go get her nails done, her hair done, when the kids needed food, needed stuff for the house. She lives in a fantasy land, thinking she sees visions that are going to come true, thinking she's with somebody she's not. Yeah, Jen speaks of Vladimir Putin every hour. She does not have the gift of vision she thinks she has. When I met Jen 12 years ago, she seemed to be stable. Jen spiraled out of control after her 3rd marriage. Amy, Peter, and Nick have confronted her numerous times, and she thinks she doesn't have a problem. She thinks she's completely normal. There was a lot of enabling going on in the family, with helping her out with money. I believe she's a scam artist, but just doesn't tell anybody. And she just thinks it's God working through her. I feel like Amy and her brothers should cut Jen off. When Jennifer came to live with us, I knew it wasn't going to be good. I didn't want Jennifer to move in, but it is Amy's mom, so I wanted to be supportive. Jennifer living with us put a lot of strain on our relationship. Just spiraled down from there. We had no privacy. We were financially responsible for her, and I didn't like that. Jennifer would use my son's phone for social media to talk to Vladimir. I hated it. She used to screenshot pictures of Vladimir Putin on my son's phone. Nobody is taking any initiative to say, Mom needs help. I feel if she stays the same and doesn't seek help, something bad will happen to her.
Thank you for joining us. You're the one that emailed.
Yes.
Because you want help here.
I just had enough. I don't agree with everything that's going on. I'm not her son. I'm with Amy and Peter and Nick, and I just thought it was time to do something to try to help her out.
Yeah. And do you think this is kind of over everybody's head?
I thought you'd be the only one that might be able to help out.
You say that everybody's enabling me. I took you guys in and helped counsel to keep you guys together a while ago. You admit that?
And I
helped with that.
And we appreciated that.
You know, but the bottom line is, what about with Bane? You know, I had a dream right before he was born, and the Lord had me praying for 2 days straight for him. He was born dead for 4 minutes, but yeah, I don't see or hear from God. He had me praying for that baby to live. And no thanks, Mom, none of that stuff.
I hear you talking about you solved this, and you fixed that, and you prophesy this, and you resolved this. And it's all about you. And all the Christians I know give all the glory to God, but you give all the glory to you.
Well, not the case. I think I'm looking for validation from them with the gifts, because they're always minimizing and trying to, like, suppress and knock down what I'm doing. I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of being hurt.
And you never hurt us?
We're tired of you making us choose between you and everyone else in the family.
Everyone else in the family that has been cruel and doing things that I just pull away from. And you guys want to choose that, that's fine. That's your lives.
You've isolated yourself from the whole entire family, not just your children, but your whole entire family.
Well, she says that you stole her youngest son away.
You took away his childhood, and you know that.
That was my child in my home, okay?
It's time to have a serious conversation about what I think's really going on here. We'll talk about that after the break.
was diagnosed with PTSD from a prolonged series of childhood neglects and abuses. There was some molestation that went on, verbal abuse, a lot of physical abuse growing up. Some of these older males that were inappropriate with me when I was a little girl. My mother lied about the paternity of my father, so I grew up thinking my dad is dead. I have a hard time trusting people. I have all this stuff I'm doing out here on the global stage, you know, working with and love with the president of Russia, and yet I have this family saying that why would God use you, and trying to impose that you're not worthy enough, you're not good enough to be doing these things. It's extremely hurtful. Like, I can't deal with the pain of that. I don't want to, and that's why I go solo and just cut everybody out of my life.
I think just in the short time that we've been together, I actually think there's been a lot of progress and a lot of movement on your part, because I think you've gotten very honest and very real here. Because if you've noticed, there's not been a lot of the filibustering about global warfare and all of that, but what she has talked about is the fact that she's really hurt.
Oh, yeah. I feel like these are not mine, because I can't imagine kids doing stuff to their mom that these guys do. And it's hard. They're my kids, I love them, but I don't know if there's any repair.
I think when you were growing up, I think there have been some really unresolved conflicts in your life. I think you spent a lot of years being lied to about who your father was. I think that you were really violated when you were 14 years old. And you make out like, I admire greatly in this profession. And they're right here. I want to introduce Creative Care founder, Dr. Mortiza Kaligi, and clinical director, Dr. Farah Kaligi. They know each other. And they're here from Creative Care Calabasas, which is a very intimate 6-bed facility. We're not talking about some big hospital somewhere. They're located on a private wooded acre property in Malibu Canyon, and the facility is set beneath the canopy of 100-year oaks and located between the Santa Monica Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. And I mean, it's just beautiful out there. It offers full psychiatric and psychological assessment and treatment, if appropriate, by top-notch doctors and therapists and round-the-clock nurses to ensure that every client that's there gets the one-on-one monitoring and attention to get to the answers that they need. And we know that you have some unresolved issues, so this can do nothing but help you. And Dr. Kaligi, do y'all believe that you can help Jennifer here to get to a more comfortable place in her life?
Well, without a doubt. Just like you said, the first thing is to do an evaluation, a very thorough psychological, psychiatric assessment. I think what you've developed is a system to really deal with all of the life stress.
No, and I'm definitely open to going into that. My thing is, and again, I started getting the dogs. Like, I want to take them with me.
We'll work that out, and you'll be able to see your dogs. That's not an issue. You said you would. You're either going to, or you're gonna go back on your word and not do it.
No, I will go.
I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Creative Care founder. Thank you so much, Dr. Kaligi, and clinical director, Dr. Farah Kaligi. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and speaking of Twitter, check out what Dr. Phil's superfan, Zach, wrote. I have an unhealthy obsession with Dr. Phil. Well, watch Dr. Phil, maybe I'll tell you how to get over that. I read all your comments on Facebook and Twitter, so keep them coming. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
bush right now. I really do. But I will come and do whatever you guys need to do and go through everything. And I can explain everything, you know, from start to finish, what brought us to this point. Dr. Phil had mentioned why he's not coming. I've questioned that in the back of my mind. And like I said, I'm wondering if, and I've always wondered if I'm in prayer and I see like Golden Nation, he's on a plane, he goes to get it. I mean, it's not coincidence. And so you have all these things. So it's like, am I being used for my gift, or what is going on with that? I think the stuff with my kids, I'm done. I want nothing to do with them anymore. And I just feel like it was all this phony, oh, we love her, we're concerned, this and that, when there's stuff going on behind the scenes, and that does not portray how they've treated me. I'm concerned about being separated from the dogs. We've never been separated. And I do. I mean, I actually love my dogs more than my children, which is sad, but they don't put me through the hell my kids have.